for the next month. I think that's mandatory. But here's the thing. I just want to mention this before I forget. Why is it all of a sudden Republicans are suddenly discovering that there's this thing called Pride Month? It's been happening for years and years
almost
and years.
Every company celebrates Pride Month. I mean, there was somebody tweeted like the entire
years now.
Yeah. And it's really difficult to miss Pride Month.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of I guess the intention is, hey, look at us. And for some reason, the Republicans have been like, what's going on in June? I don't understand. Nothing's happening.
There's gays up in here. Yeah.
Kind of take a look around.
You tweeted Pride Month is here, which means the Republican freakout about the LGBT community will sink to new depths of awfulness. I know. That's the nice thing is even when you think they can't get more awful.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely do.
Here's Pride Month. Yeah.
But I have this theory that they secretly want to participate because, I mean, if you look at, Rudy Giuliani, practically making out with Donald Trump on SNL while Rudy was in drag. And then there's that podcaster, Michael Knowles, who did a college film where he was in a same-sex relationship. And, there was George Santos and Bill Lee, and then Donald Trump doing that weird two-fisted thing.
Double handy J, we call it.
Yes, exactly. The one, because you know what? I showed that in my most recent video that I put on TikTok, and TikTok took it down because it was sexually explicit. And it was the clip of Donald Trump doing that two-fisted thing.
Everyone knows that's the symbol for handy J.
Yeah, the optimal tip-to-tip kind of thing that from Silicon Valley, from that show. Yeah. I'm not sure if anyone's told him what he's doing, because I'm sure if someone actually told him what that looked like, I think
he already dances to YMCA.
Yeah.
I mean, what's gayer? I don't. Okay.
No one's told him. No one's told him. That's it, Stephanie.
But you're right, Bob, about the. I don't even know what it is. Projection. I guess who was it? I just saw on. I think I mentioned it yesterday. But one of these right-wing Patriot Front lunatics. Somebody was calling gay people groomers and pedophiles. Of course, he's just busted for child porn. I mean, it's just on cue. Yeah.
Well, and Charlie Kirk, the dumbest man in politics.
Yeah. Yes.
By the way, when you say the name Charlie Kirk, it has to be followed with the dumbest man in politics.
Yes. Okay.
His group, TPUSA, which is a dumb title. TP has a very specific connotation.
Yes.
But TPUSA took money from a company that's run by a registered sex offender. And so this is the hypocrisy that we're seeing as they scream about grooming and demonizing trans people, demonizing drag shows and all those things. And it's just, I know we're past hypocrisy these days. Like every time I bring up the word hypocrisy, I feel like, oh, well, we're well past that now.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's true. This is the kind of contradiction that they're screwing around with, and they can get away with it because they've got a bubble audience. Right?
Now, is a handsome romantic hunk of man who has sported the sport his whole life, Bob. I've seen pictures of you as a childhood when you were 17 times larger than all the other boys. I think you are qualified. You tweeted, Republicans don't blink over the fact that prepubescent boys play youth sports with fully developed post-pubescent boys with myriad physical advantages. The trans athlete freakout is both cheap culture war bull meant to drive ratings, and it's inherently patriarchal. I haven't heard anyone make that point, but that's really true. And we were saying too, in most states, it's one person or something. They're trying to make laws to hurt one person, right? I mean,
and they frame it as trying to protect girls, which is very, very patriarchal. So, well, these fragile little girls, they can't play with post-pubescent boys in the same league, but this can go on. So it's another one of these contradictions that they're not really thinking this issue through, because this is something that I remember quite distinctly when I was 12, 13 years old. You had a lot of boys who were post-pubescent who had beards. I know some guys in 8th grade who already had receding hairlines, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And they were playing sports with guys who looked like they were 7 years old physically.
Yeah.
And so this is something that has done almost no harm whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's bullying in school, but
did you get bullied because you were 17?
Competition goes,
you probably didn't get bullied because you were 17 times bigger than any of the other boys.
Yeah. Yes. Well, even before puberty, I was 9 feet tall. So that was.
I picture
that
you
was
as
the thing. I was very odd looking.
The Jolly Green
like
Giant,
a 9 foot tall prepubescent boy. Like
the Jolly Green Giant has arrived at the baseball field.
Yeah.
I picture them tying you down in the where the giant gets tied down. Who am I
That's
thinking?
right.
Beanstalk?
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know what they did about you because they were like,
Where did you put your beanstalk?
But I mean, imagine like a really tall guy with just like a baby face. I mean, it was just so awkward looking. And then everything happened and I was fine. But the point being is that, there are these physical differences in youth sports that, kids confront all the time, whether it's in gym class or whether it's intramural soccer or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is just it's a physical challenge that kids have usually gotten over.
Yeah.
And I feel as though there are so few trans athletes, by the way, that the ones who do want to play are being unfairly singled out, not just by their peers or by their school, but by, my God, their state legislature.
Right. By the way, us mocking you for your freakish tallness is not sexist. We've had the same conversation with Judy Gold, who is roughly 174 feet tall.
Yeah. Well, and also Kimberly is very tall. I mean, she's 6 feet tall. She was like 5'10" when she was 14.
Wow. Yes, when you guys came to Sexy Liberal San Francisco, everybody tweeted they look like genetically engineered super soldiers.
Well, that's because we are. That's right. Lots of machinery, lots of technology. Yeah.
Bob, this is the time on the
super
show
serum.
When I ask you, is Brawndo what plants crave?
Yes, because it's got electrolytes.
Thank you. Okay, because this one, Patriot Takes tweeted, George Santos praises car with Trump 1 and QAnon-themed stickers he spotted in AOC's district, and you said the owner of the car probably wrote the same thing on the walls of his crawl space using his own feces.
Huh.
Yeah, there's just a weird car with writing all over it. Like, who does that? I'm going to go buy a new car and I'm going to put a manifesto on it. Yeah. What color would you like your car to be, sir? A pearlescent or a nice, would you like black or red or white? I'd like my car to look like a manifesto. That's what that looked like.
I told this story of my brother-in-law who lives in this tiny red county in North Carolina. I just told this story yesterday. Bobby's getting his hair cut, and the woman talked about not wanting to go to the festival because of guns, her protecting her kids, and he thought, oh, this is a reasonable person. We're going to talk about the proliferation of guns, and she went off into that's why I'm homeschooling them because of the Rothschilds and whatever, boogity, whatever. I mean, she had scissors near his head, but I was like, oh my God. Like, what percentage of this country are just conspiracy theory lunatics? He literally was do you know who the Rothschilds are? They have nothing to do with the American education system. It's
just a bumper sticker. That's all that is. And whenever I hear these kinds of stories, Stephanie, and I say this somewhat facetiously, but shut down the internet. We're just not we're totally not evolved enough to be able to handle this.
Yeah, like we can handle AI. We can't even handle the internet.
I mean, now, oh my God! Now imagine the next freak out that's going to happen because of AI. It's already started.
Yeah.
But as far as the internet, it's one of those things. It's almost like the iPhone was 50 years ahead of its time. The internet was at least 1,000 years before its time because we're just not ready to be able to figure out like, is this the truth or is this the truth? And we just, Bob, our BS detector is broken. And
this goes to your other tweet about COVID and about, the next pandemic and the fact that we're still in the middle of this one because of Trump and this idiocracy. I think you were referring to the Brookings Institute saying Trump is responsible for 70% of the deaths in America from COVID. And you said, true, we know for sure his sociopathic incompetence and greed led directly to hundreds of thousands of American COVID deaths. If Democrats don't regularly remind voters of this between now and Election Day, they're doing it wrong. I mean, that's the other thing. He's bequeathed. Whatever happens to him is this anti-science bull, right?
Right. And I think this is sort of a deficit that we have on the left sometimes where we let these pitches sail right on by without taking a look. And this is one of those situations where remember what the Republicans did and said for years and years and years when there were 4 American deaths at Benghazi?
Yeah.
Remember the countless hearings and they still haven't shut up about it.
Yeah.
But comparatively, Democrats are observing an ex-president, Donald Trump, who in his final year, because of his incompetence, because of his focus on re-election above all else, wanted to maintain the economy so he could get reelected. He didn't want a repeat of what happened in 2008 when John McCain got blown out of the water, partly because of an amazing candidate, an amazing opponent, and an economy that was collapsing. He didn't want that to happen to him. So he BS'd his way through the response to COVID, didn't really care about it, wanted to make sure people got back to normal as quickly as possible. Because of his lack of attention to that crisis, because of his incompetence, hundreds of thousands of Americans died because of Donald Trump specifically. There are more than one study
and are continuing
about this.
Yeah, and are continuing to. I just saw this out of Hartford, Connecticut, Bob. Some masking and testing precautions are back in place at the state capitol building as positive COVID cases escalate. I was saying I just went to see my mom over Memorial Day. I'm one of, I don't know, 2 people on the plane with a mask on. Or in my mom's nursing home. I mean, and we still have, I forget what Dr. Redlener told us, how many people still dying a day. You know, I mean, it's just...
Yeah. And actually, it's really bad in China right now. I think they're having something like 65 million new cases a week in China. Yeah. And it was partly because they relaxed all of their mandates due to, significant protests.
Yes.
Speaking of people who almost died of COVID, Chris Christie is set to announce his run for president next week.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Trump gave him COVID. So maybe he'll have a little extra oomph in this candidacy against Trump.
I hope he wears his baseball suit at least one day.
Yes.
He's got to give us that. If he's going to do this to the country,
the fupa,
please wear your bathing suit.
Whoever advised him to wear skin-tight white baseball pants, please be his campaign manager. Please. Okay.
I also said bathing suit because I was thinking of that shot of him on the beach in the chair. Which is so much fun to Photoshop. Yeah.
Man. Bob, real quick before we go, what's going to happen? Do you think with the debt ceiling? Are these lunatics going to blow us up? Are they not going to blow us up, but blow Kevin McCarthy out? What's going to happen, Uncle Bob?
I get the sense it's going to be okay because I think there are enough Democratic votes in the House that are going to compensate for all of the Freedom Clown Car Caucus people walking away from voting for it.
Yeah.
So, and they were never going to vote for it anyway. No matter what deal came out, they're going to do what Donald Trump says they should do. And in this case, Donald Trump believes that any deal that doesn't involve him, doesn't matter what the parameters of the deal are. If it's not a Donald Trump deal, it's a terrible deal.
Yeah.
So, Kevin McCarthy could have gotten everything he wanted, and the Freedom Caucus probably would have gone, it's not
you're
enough,
right,
not
Bob,
good enough.
That's a good point. Why do you even negotiate with these people? They're not interested in governing. None of them were ever going to vote for anything anyway. They're not interested in governing. I mean, it's... Oh, by the way, I love that we're almost an hour into the show, and I haven't gotten to Trump vows to nullify part of the Constitution by executive order on day 1 of his second term. That's just become normal. Just like,
he's getting ready.
Okay.
Believe him when he says things. Yeah. I mean, when he's acting like this neo-fascist and he's giving all indications that that's what he's going to do, it's startling to me that Democrats in response to that, like whatever it is, 20% of us are going, well, let's play grab ass with Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr. Because that's, that's democracy.
Did play grab ass with Marianne Williamson.
I did not. I asked.
He's fine.
Anyway, Bob, that's not important.
He played grab ass with Marianne Williamson.
Just asked if she's ever... Ladylike.
Okay,
what?
And the other question is, what is grab ass? I've used that term so many times, I'm not sure exactly what that even is.
When it happens, you know it.
Ask your mother, Stephanie.
Okay, all right.
Oh, LBJ played grab ass with my mom at the inaugural ball when he was dancing with her. Yeah.
Did you just Me Too LBJ?
I did.
Oh my God.
I did. Time's up. Well, time's already up for him. But anyway, love you, Bob
LBJ
Cesca.
and his poor bunghole.
You cannot tell that measuring him for pants story enough.
Yes, I love that story.
You know what's essential to America, Bob Cesca? Captain America? The Bob Cesca Show.
That's right.
I don't ever miss it. I'm going for a hike right after this with my Bob Cesca Show. I bike every Wednesday with my Bob Cesca Show generally. Okay.
Be careful. My God, be careful.
All right.
It's distracting. Yeah.
Sexyliberal.com. Love you. Goodbye, Captain America.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
49 minutes after the hour, this portion of the show. Oh, hey. Hi, John. Hi.
Good morning from the New York Bureau of Children. How are you?
Good.
Good. I always think of you, noted musicologist, VH1 VJ.
Yes.
Because everybody had their favorite, like, Tina Turner